If you wanted a language, you went and learned it. If you wanted some part of math, you went and read it up. You were supposed to do that. My teaching, being taught in Aarhus, was very classical. There's lectures, there's teaching assistant sessions, there's homework and all of that, fairly standard. But I met Christian Nygaard, the guy that invented Simula and object-oriented programming. And he was a visitor at the university, so he came about once a month, and it turned out that I had an office just down the stairs from the room to the guest room. And so basically it became a habit. He comes in, stick his head into my office and says, roughly round up the usual suspect. So my job was to find a bunch of students to take up to talk to him. And so we went up there and we talked with Christian. The problem is you don't get much to say with Christian. Christian lectures. He just is full of ideas and they burst out of him. And so you sit there and maybe you get to ask a question or two, but mostly you listen. And that's a very different kind of teaching. It's more like telling stories. He was always telling stories about problems he had encountered and solutions that had and what they worked and where they didn't and which people and organizations he liked and didn't like and things like that. And that was very interesting. And then when I came to Cambridge, it turned out that David Wheeler was using a similar technique. So I come in as a new PhD student full of ideas, and every week come in, you tell him all these great ideas you've had. He says, well, Bjarne, it's not a bad idea. No, it isn't. Actually, we almost did that for the ETSAC 2. Now, the ETSAC 2 was the machine he built when I was 6 years old before I went to school. So these were the most dreaded words I could hear, because it means that somebody had been there 20 years before. Okay, and then he says, but then we realized that, and then he was off to the races. We have this alternative, we had that alternative, so there's that technique, and we did that, and then we tried something else. And again, not getting much of a word in edgeways, I learned a lot. And again, it was this discussion of alternatives, designs, reasoning. He assumed I could go and read any book that I needed to understand the details. If you wanted a language, you went and learned it. If you wanted some part of math, you went and read it up. You were supposed to do that. You're a PhD student. You can do that. But what he gave me was sort of the way scientists, the way engineers thought. And after a year, I came in. Usually after an hour like that, you're about this tall. Anyway, so after about a year, I came in with a great idea. And he says, yeah, that might work. Wow. We spent the next 2.5 years doing it. That was how it went. But I think there's a lesson here. Straight lecturing is good for delivering facts. It's not all that good for delivering how to think about things. And to learn how to actually be a scientist and engineer. All the techniques you're supposed to be able to pick up. That was the Cambridge attitude, which sort of, it worked in Cambridge. I'm not sure it works everywhere, but it was fun.